You know, this revolution is filled with so many ironies, really. First, you tell us that it is manly to keep your word, right? If you are a man, you keep your word. And now all of the black people in this country are demanding, and even the black people in the whole world are demanding, is that you keep your word. You told us we were free. Well, then show us that we're free. You told us that there is justice, equality for all in this country. Well, then stick to your word and let us see the justice and equality for all. Or else admit to us that you're not a man, you're a bird, you're afraid of us, you're afraid to give us equal stand. You're afraid that if you give us equal ground, that we will match you and we will override you.
Oh, there they go! There they go! God damn, boy, what's that? Some kind of weed or something? Miss Jackson, ooh, I am for real.
You can kill all the black folks you want, baby, but you will not kill the freedom of black folks. It's coming. We're going to get it. We fought every one of your damn lousy wars, baby, and you give us nothing. Now the war is going to be here, but we're going to be free. Now you kill you want to, but we kill too.
This goes on out. Hopefully my audio is good. My audio is clear. If my audio is good and my audio is clear, can you hear me, Helluva? Okay, I think I got you muted. Hold on a second. How we doing there? You on there now?
Yep.
All right. Well, we're going to get right to it because it ain't like people don't know who you are, but I'm going to introduce you and try to sound all official and shit. But I appreciate anybody that's going to check this out. The Villager on Deck on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitter. Friedman Media on Twitter. I know that confuses people and they're like, what do you be talking about? The Villager on Deck. I'm like, that's my handle that I'm on YouTube, but I still use the Freedman Media page. So I appreciate anybody that's gonna check it out on Twitter. I know people say X, but I can't say X.
No.
Yeah, I can't do that. I don't even know what he meant when he did that. Didn't even, I'm not, no, I'm not gonna do X. It's always gonna be Twitter to me. So until it goes away, but we're gonna talk about really the life according to hip hop, or even hip hop according to our life. I mean, we've had so much influence from this genre of music. And as we know, celebrate 50 years or whatever. I still didn't really celebrate the 50 years because I think hip hop's been around a lot longer. It's just been in other formats, but you've been a part of the hip hop culture for a long time. So we're gonna talk about that, but where the influence of hip hop and just our everyday lives have crossed paths. I've got some videos I want to show today. I want to talk about some things that have been going on the local hip hop scene. We'll get to that. But just hip hop is truly the most influential genre across platforms, across anything, whether it be business, sports, obviously music, politics. I mean, hip hop is a draw. Hip hop is a draw. It brings people together, and yet it's been demonized so much. But before I continue to run on, I want to bring up my brother, DJ HELLUVA. And, people know him from a variety of names, Roberto, Darnell, but I'll call him Helluva, I'll call him Nell, I'll call him whatever, it's all love. But I wanted to bring him up because he is actually a music historian. He is somebody that, we've had these conversations where I be thinking something and he'll just blurt out and say it. We have the same wavelength on a lot of things where music is concerned. So I felt like we could have a good build here tonight. And I wanted to talk about life in hip hop. We've had a lot of stuff go on, it's not just about Killer Mike getting arrested at the Grammys or, Jay-Z making a speech that he made at the Grammys. It's not just about that stuff. Not just about Drake and Mos Def. I mean, those are things that captivate everybody's attention about hip hop, but we want to go a little bit deeper, a little bit further into it, tonight. Pause. You watch It Is What It Is, man? Do you watch It Is What It Is, Helluva?
I watch it once in a while.
Okay, so when they do the pause thing, they taught me about the pause thing. Because you can say some really risque stuff, and I guess pause kind of, it lets people know like it ain't about that. So I've learned that, they taught an old dog new tricks. So
I saw from Dame Dash. I saw from Dame Dash a while back.
Okay? So Dame Dash was saying it that way too. He would just say pause. I didn't know what he was talking about. Sometimes he wouldn't even say nothing. He just like pause. So what's the meaning?
Well, basically, you're saying something that not being. I'm gonna go straight to it. It's like basically some people would say things like homophobic type stuff. And if you say something like, for instance, I was just talking to Jeanette last night about we like making dinner,
right?
And there was some salami in the refrigerator. We came from the store from buying stuff for a salad,
right?
And I said, "Wow, there's salami in the refrigerator." She said, "Why are you excited?" I said, "I like salami in my salad." When I said, "Damn, you know what? If I was around somebody else, they'd be like, oh, why you ain't say pause?" Because salami.
Right.
So I like, but I'm thinking about my dinner. So, but old school, that's not how we thinking.
Exactly.
And if we did think that, we'd be like, he don't know how that sounds. We laugh and go on. We don't say it to the person as if they actually meant it. But now they go crazy. No matter what you say, it could be anything. It don't have to be really anything pause worthy. They in their mind is something. So it's like, man,
So is that attributed to an oversexed generation or an oversexed mind that we have now? I mean, because that's generally what it is. It's like a sexual connotation usually.
But it's more homophobic because they're thinking that somebody's saying something like that and you should have said pause instead of them staying in context of the conversation.
Okay.
They're going out of context when they say pause because we're not talking about nothing of that nature.
Right.
But in their mind, that clicked up what you could have been saying. So they telling you. So basically, it's projecting their feelings on you because I'm talking about salad that I'm about to eat for dinner.
Right.
Other stuff, y'all miss me with all of that, But that's basically what it is. Just
okay. So if you're talking about a third party, though, say if it's a conversation between you and I, but we're talking about a third party, and I say something about a third party. Do you get the whole homophobe thing there at that point too? Because that's what that is. That's a homophobe.
It depends on what you said and if it can connect to something like that. It doesn't have to be directly, but if somebody can find some way to connect that with it, they're gonna say pause. Because
people digging too damn deep for that shit. Then pause. You know what I'm saying? See, I just said that digging too deep, but you can be digging too deep. That don't have to be homophobic. That could be heterosexual.
And generational, we say things from the past that now, if you say it, they question you about it.
Mm-hmm.
Like LL battling cannabis. Well, if you eat somebody up, boom, you know what I'm saying? You dogging them out, you beat them, whatever. You got the best of the situation.
Right.
We always say, man, I'm getting that ass, man.
Right.
It's a fight. Now, if you say that, why you didn't say pause? Well, first of all, I'm about to whoop this nigga ass, brother ass. So I ain't thinking about what you think about, but that's basically what it is. Just something in somebody else's mind. A lot of people have that thought and they want to. I don't really play the game like that, because
I catch myself saying it more when I'm online, and I'm projecting in this way. But I don't see myself when we around dudes that are our demographic generally. We're not thinking that way. We're not thinking about stuff like that. But the younger generation, they're all into that, and I've learned. But yeah, Dame Dash was saying, so he's very ultra sensitive about his commentary. Like he picks his words very carefully and stuff like that. And when he says something out of line, then it's pause. I didn't know it just automatically went to the homosexual side. I mean, I've heard.
Just think about listen to him from now on, past and present interviews, and then you be like, oh, okay. It's pretty much geared toward that. And he'll just say it out the blue, and your mind didn't connect to it until he says pause. Now you're trying to think back to what he say that he's trying to say pause about. When you connect, it's like, oh, okay, but you don't automatically think those things all the time. Everybody's mindset is. If you're in a conversation with me, I'm listening to what you're talking about, and I'm in context of what you're talking about. I'm not
right. Yeah, I don't have a whole lot of time to be trying to figure out, did he mean that by that? He meant what the fuck he said. That's the way I look at things. Like, if he says something, he meant it. That's the way it's said. I'm not going to sit here and try to figure out and decipher and decode and shit, what somebody said. If that's what he said, that's what he said. I rarely think that people put innuendo into their just general conversation. I don't think that. I mean, if you put an innuendo in there, we come from a lyrical generation. We talked, we were communicators. So if we know how to put out innuendo. We're not going to put something out to where you're going to make somebody have to think about the innuendo. That's the whole point. The innuendo is what's supposed to make you think, not make you think if it's innuendo or, this motherfucker making a pass at me, or like, I didn't realize. It was like, whatever. It's like, I don't know. I ain't got time for all that. So, but I get it. I get why, and I say certain things because we're older too. So talking to young people, they might think it's on some different stuff like that too. And I mean, it's the weird world that we live in, but I get it. So the pause thing, that's there. I mean, because back in our day, I'd be like,
Did you say nigga?
I mean, we aren't doing no pause and shit. We were like, hey, whatever.
Did you say nigga?
I mean, if you had to say that, then that's pretty much like pause. But recently, let's just get it out the way. Recently, we've had a situation locally with a couple things that have happened, and you were actually at the Slick Rick concert. You were at the Slick Rick concert DJing. What was the demographic like?
I wasn't DJing.
Oh, you weren't spending that night. You didn't spend it all that night.
What it was, I helped out with the show tape for Kid J. I was a part of that. But my cousin Jay Lavin was DJing. He got me up into the spot.
I got you. Okay. You was behind the scenes though.
Oh yeah.
You was behind the scenes. I was like,
I was in the VIP lounge. I'm gonna speak on that though.
Your vantage point was different than other people's vantage point.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I mean, you know, a lot of people's vantage point, there was a phone behind somebody else's phone. You was up in the staging area, you know.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah. So what was the demographic? I mean, you know, between was it 35 and up, 40 and up, or was there a lot of youngins there?
It was some youngins, and I would consider that to Kid J opening up.
Okay.
A lot of people did want to come check him out, but then also Slick Rick, you know, a lot of young people do know about Slick Rick as a children's story. So
got it. Yeah.
So you'll have some people younger than us up in there for Slick Rick also, but the younger ones, a lot of them were there for Kid J. Okay.
So any problems? Any static?
Nah. From beginning to end, it was good. And I left before everybody left out. When I left, everybody who paid for the meet and greet was lined up in the back. The DJ was still spinning, so you had like say a quarter of the crowd still mingling at the bar, talking and listening to the DJ because he was going back and playing stuff, playing videos and stuff. So like a little party going for a while. So I left during that in the parking lot where people was getting in cars and leaving. So nothing popped off.
So cool. So it's been a while since I've been in the Diamondback. I mean, they do any updates in there? I mean, is it look different here?
This is my first time in there, but from what I was told, it's total remodel. It looked nice in there. So
okay.
It's pretty straight. The only issue I got, it needs more seating, but I guess the original venue is not really designed for like really sitting, but it's still nice and it's got a lot of space for people to be in.
So it was general admission. Did they have any areas where you could sit if you wanted to sit like further back away from the Gen Pop?
Well, I'll say it was just general seating. So the floor area, it's like a big old, I wouldn't say dance floor, it was a big old floor area, but then there's like stadium seating all the way up around it. So
there is like real concert seating up in there.
Well, not seats, but there's some seats up top. Once you get in the middle part, it's like a little bar area, like a little railing in a bar spot you would stand on. Word. And then it's not, and then the seating is like, because I didn't go all the way up there because I went to the VIP area.
Yeah.
What I was seeing from out there.
You wasn't up there with the peasants and shit. You was in the VIP. So you see how he slipped that in, y'all? He just kind of slipped it in. He's like, I went down there with them peasants. I was in the VIP section.
You know how Slick Rick talk, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's rubbing off. But yeah, so it's a spot you can get a lot of people up in, if you think about having a function there, it's a nice spot to make some money out of, and I'll say that.
Okay, well, let's kind of go to that. We're just going to knock these things down the way it comes to my mind. Somebody rented that joint to have Slick Rick come on in, and they promoted it. Okay. I don't know for sure, but I don't believe that the Diamondbacks' new owners are black. I believe they are still non-black. Where we are in 2024, we're still doing what we did a lot of in the late 80s, early 90s, all into current. We're still having our events in other people's venues. What do you think has kept us from getting to the space? Because it ain't like we don't have money as a collective. As individuals, we might not be able to just go get something like a Diamondback. But why are we still in this state where we're renting more venues versus having our own venues to host events like that at in 2024? Why do you think that is? Because you've been out here DJing. Have you ever DJed in a black club?
A black owned club? I'll say.
Yeah, not black targeted, black owned.
And if only way is if I didn't know the people was black, but as far as I understand, no.
Okay. That's ridiculous because you done DJed in clubs for damn near 30 years.
Was Tommy G's ever black owned?
Tommy G's?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
If not, then nah, because that's probably close I thought I might have got. I don't know.
And you probably DJed some Arabic clubs, You probably ran into Alex and all them River Rock and all that stuff down there. I mean, those were Arabs.
Also, that spot that's City Trends right now too. That bistro, DJ
Right,
there.
right.
That was a nice spot though, man. Oh man, that was
Washington.
Nice.
Yeah. I mean, what happened there? Because that
I don't
place.
know. Yeah, but with the times I was spending there, it was packed. And then my man Mo Rollin was throwing after parties for his comedy shows, and it was at capacity every time. So
we had our class reunion in there, and it was a perfect venue for that. I mean, you could do because you can. It's a multi-purpose room. It was a multi-purpose. If you could have a whole lot of stuff going on at one time in that spot.
Corner, pool in that corner, eating all around, darts. Yeah.
It was crazy. So, but yeah, my question is like, why don't we own more clubs? We love going to clubs. We love doing stuff at clubs. Why don't we own clubs?
That's a hard one because I know when we own it, if we no matter what, when we come to spots, for some reason we just want to tear it up. So I don't know why, because in Ann Arbor, I want to try to make the excuses hard to get buildings, but I guess if you get together, it shouldn't be. If you come together as a collective, you should be able to get a spot and run a business. I really couldn't tell you why, because we've had situations where we should have had our own spots. We got DJs, we got people with other parts of entertainment. There's people with own security companies. So, I don't know. That's
if we've got all the entities that go in the club to make the club happen, why can't we just find an edifice and we pull some money together? You might have to go get you a big money investor who will be a silent investor, doesn't really want to be a part of the day-to-day stuff. But why hasn't that happened for us when it happens for others? It happens for other collectives who can pool their monies, their resources, and their ideas. And the idea really is just to make that residual money off of somebody else, truthfully. Yeah. Why hasn't it happened for us? That's why I always want to know, like, because this is what we've done. We've rented clubs. I mean, we've rented clubs, rented venues, all of our adult lives. Going back into the days of holding, events at the Elks clubs and the Mason lodges and stuff like that.
Real quick. I just got a quick question.
Mm-hmm.
Is the Elks has the Elks ever? The Elks was officially owned by Black people, right? Before the recent situations.
I thought.
Well, then I have DJ at one Black club.
Right. So technically,
But at the Elks just spending a lot. So,
but you got to understand that Elks that's a fraternal lodge. So there's something that comes with the Elks. With those Black people have had that lodge had they not had the endorsement of the Elks. You know what I'm saying? you know what I'm saying? It's I see where you're at though. And you technically have. And you know what? You might have had somebody that was a partner in something, this, that, and the other. I get it. But I'm talking about like, why haven't we had,
straight on the building.
Motown Cafe, back in the day, the Farr brothers owned theirs. Because I introduced Wayman Tisdale there twice. And it was a jazz club. It was kind of like, but they would have like their little nights. But for the most part, it was like a smoothed out after work type spot, that was owned, but that was owned. They weren't regular cats. Those cats, their daddies got famous playing football and, having a cape, wearing a cape, selling cars. Just regular people. Why don't we put that together? Why can't we put that thing together? I mean, it can't just always be white supremacy. It can't just always be, regular.
At some point, that does have to be cut out as an excuse because it's limitations, but there's still reasons. There's still other reasons why we don't actually pass. Once we haven't gotten past that and still haven't, got to the threshold of keeping our stuff. We've had Black-owned businesses around, but they're not around like they used to be anymore. So,
sure,
that's another question too. But what happened to the ones we had? Because growing up in Ann Arbor, it's different. It felt different when I think back to, because even in my own family, there was a Black-owned business. So,
right.
Yeah, and I know friends and people, like you say, car washes, restaurants, all kind of stuff that was just, out there and things to do. My aunt actually at home owned a boutique and doing stuff out of the boutique for a while too.
Right.
So it's
It's not like we can't own businesses. It's not like we can't be functional in that way. It's just that particular industry has always kind of escaped our generation. Like back in the day, like my mom used to go down to Henry's Palace and different places in the city. It used to be black-owned clubs all down there all over the place. Now they're all gone for the most part. I think the Stardust in Inkster is still owned by black people. But Stardust ain't what the Stardust used to be. Yeah. And there's still a few people that are still kind of hanging on. Flood still owned by black man, right? He didn't sell, did he?
I don't know about Floods.
I think Floods was. Oh yeah, I don't think he sold it. But most of that stuff down there, I mean, it's it's not owned by black people the way it used to be. And the young our generation, who would be coming into stuff like that, we just have not really grasped onto it. And like even in not just that part of it, but why don't we get more into the events, not just the event space, but why are we not more into this industry? I mean, who have we had? We've had your Sugs, we're talking hip hop, Sugs, Diddy, Jay-Z, Russell. Okay, Russell was the godfather of, say, hip hop ownership for black people. And it kind of spawned from that. Master P.
Irv Gotti.
Yeah. So all of those people who own their own stuff, like, where did that go to? Like, well, look at that now. Like, Snoop just rebought Death Row Records, but he really didn't buy Death Row Records, right? He just bought the brand. He doesn't own any of them.
No. He owns the music.
He owns the music?
Snoop literally took the whole catalog off all streaming sites for a while and threw it into the metaverse. He owns the music. I think Dre still owns the Chronic, but he owns everything else.
So Suge Knight lost the music?
Suge lost everything. He been lost everything. When he lost the label, he lost everything. Somebody else had that. And that's why Snoop made a comment that somebody who knew the millionaire cats, the billionaire cats that had it. But they got it from, like, who got it from Suge. So it's been passed around, but now they had it.
But who Snoop got it from, right? He got it from Hasbro.
Oh, that's right.
The toy company. The toy company.
Because I was making a joke about if they're gonna make some Death Row action figures. So yeah.
And then he probably got a little deal set up. But yeah, he got it from Hasbro.
But I thought that somebody got it from them. That's why I was thinking that Snoop was saying that some dudes he knew had it, but they got
it in some type of auction sale. Like it came with some type of deal, like Death Row Records. That just lets you know how minuscule that shit is compared to Hasbro. Like they got it into some type of, like somebody didn't pay their storage bill, and whatever was in the storage unit was theirs, and Death Row Records was just part of that. Because what's Hasbro want to do with Death Row Records?
Snoop got in Storage Wars.
right. Look what we got, man.
Death Row.
right. But we have all that stuff, and then we lose that stuff, and then Snoop's. We keep calling Snoop Suge. And it's so funny because does Suge really have a podcast? I'm all over the place with this shit.
Yeah.
Does he really have a podcast in prison?
Yeah. Dave Mays calls him and records the phone calls and going to push the phone calls out in the podcast. Dave Mays does the intro and everything.
Are you serious?
It's called Collect Call with Suge Knight. Yeah.
Wow.
It's graphics and everything, intro. Yeah.
Okay. That's a whole nother. See, is he really doing time if he's up there doing podcasts and shit? Is he really doing time? Because he's got like 28 years or something, right? Is he really doing time? Or he's making a podcast now?
No, you already know how it is.
That's nuts. That's nuts. All right. So that's good that went over, and we'll figure out the whole thing. I really want to know why black people just don't own venues. I hate always seeing us having to go to third parties to have our parties.
Yeah,
I feel like we should be able to have our own thing, something to be able to count on, and it's our own space that can put 1,500, 2,000 people in it, or just have a nice little intimate, 200-300 people, but have it be our own thing and dictate our own thing.
I mean, we got to do it, and then we got to come there and not act stupid when we do it.
This is very true. This is very. Why do we want to wait till we get all dressed up and everything, smelling good, looking good, whatever, to start fighting? What is that?
I don't really understand it. Like, you go out to a spot to have fun, but instead you're trying to find somebody to have a problem with, or you there and then whatever it is, you got a lot of time the liquor get to flowing, but it's like you're still in your head before you do it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, because I went to parties when I wasn't DJing just to try to have fun, but
right.
After that one party I DJ'd, if I'm not DJing, I really didn't go to parties at the time when not the mics passing, but
right.
That kind of disturbed me for really want to do stuff like that. But
do you think? All right. So our climates have changed, and we're just over 30 minutes. So we're still just kind of getting a little introduction in here. Our climates have changed over the years. And where we're from, Ann Arbor, I know there's some Ipsy cats, it's going to end up checking this out, and they probably wondering if their name gonna come up, and their name's gonna come up. Name's about to come up in a minute, because there's just been a whole lot of energy, little like weird energy spent about Ann Arbor versus Ipsy, and I don't get it, because I've never looked at myself to be in competition from anybody from Ipsy, or I'm not sure why anybody from Ipsy would think that Ann Arbor people are in competition with them, but it's been a thing, whatever. I played along with it because I thought it was just kind of a joke thing. I'm very sarcastic, but my sarcasm kind of bites sometimes, so I get it. But we've seen Ann Arbor, if it ever was, which Ann Arbor at some point, people don't realize there was some gangster in Ann Arbor way back in the day, even so before us, let's say. As we went through the 70s and the 80s, things smoothed out a little bit, but back in the late 80s and the early 90s, Ann Arbor had problems, and people knew that. Ipsy had problems, and just like everybody else had problems. I mean, the crack era, let's just put it out there, the crack era was out there, and it made certain situations chaotic. I don't think Ann Arbor goes through what it goes through in the late 80s to early 90s, mid 90s without the crack era,
Definitely
not. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think Ipsy goes through it either. I don't think any area where it's densely populated with black folks, and it wasn't like, Ann Arbor was ever more than 10%, but where there were densely populated areas of black folks, the drugs were prevalent. So with that being said, things were different. On the north, you had your Heights. On the west, you had North Maple, you had South Maple, you had Pine Lake. In the south, southeast, you got Stony Brook, Brayburn, Colonial, Platte Road, High Cone. You got all that, you know what I'm saying? You got all that in the south. And then just sprinkled, I mean, hell, at one point Arbordale got bad right over there, the little quad, it's called the mini Carter. Pauline, what was that, 1500 Pauline?
Such limitations, we can talk about it.
Yeah. There's certain things about Ann Arbor, certain little pockets where shit happened, and I don't know why Ann Arbor has always had to you always get in this situation like, every night I got to fight to prove my love. It's like, every night I got to fight to prove that we was tough. I'm not fighting. I'm not arguing with anybody. I'm 54 with 4 grandkids. I'm not arguing with anybody about how tough Ann Arbor was in 1989. I don't give a fuck. But some people still holding on to them dreams, you know. Some people still trying to squeeze into their varsity jacket and shit. You know what I'm saying? Some people on that shit, and I'm not. But we got this youngin' that came out, and you know, I just learned who he was, like when I started inquiring. And he had made a video, and he was talking about the current state where Ann Arbor is. You know, none of these cooperatives, sides of town, pockets, whatever we want to call them, are what they were back in the day. There's still some mischief everywhere, but none of them are like they were back in the day. So the whole story was about Arrowwood. We know Arrowwood as the Heights. Then it went to Arrowwood. It was always Arrowwood, but we knew it as the Heights. And when the Heights was at its height, it was way different than what it is right now. It was way different than what it is right now. So in comparison, I think he got thrown in that spin cycle of what used to be to what is right now. Because I done seen some shootings over in Arrowwood in the last year. I can go through my phone and my video of my phone. There's actual shootings of cell phone videos that people done sent me. I'm like, ain't that the community building? They're like, yeah.
Boss, I heard about that. Yeah, I heard about it.
I mean, so shit's still happening there, and shit's still happening in other spaces. There was a shooting over in South Maple, a year and a half ago, at a vigil. There's a fucking vigil, and then they start shooting. So there's no respect for the dead. There's no respect for the mourners. You know, they got to pop a couple off just and you know, I'm not even sure what that does.
I was about to say wherever somebody's hurting is going to be popping off at when it comes to the community, when it comes to the money level or whatever's going on inside with education. Anytime people are hurting and struggling, it's going to be something. So it's shit popping off everywhere. Everybody got stuff. It's like Quick said, you know, he found out wherever he went, it was just like Compton. So he realized shit popping off everywhere.
As long as it has those certain ingredients, generally dealing with either underserved or just flat out poverty. This is impoverished areas, living below the poverty line areas. If it's that happening, it's some gonna be jumped off. That's what we know, right? Guns, drugs, you know, just all types of illicit behaviors. It's not always us, because we know there's Latino gangs, there's Asian gangs, there's all types of stuff, and it spawns generally from the same type of situations. But what's it take for us not to do that? What's it take for us not? Because they blame the music. It's not the music. They blamed hip hop for how long and said that it's the music that's making these kids do this. But it wasn't. It wasn't, because there were people that didn't, you know, like the school shooters. A lot of them are not fans of hip hop, but they never get blamed for the music that they listen to.
I was gonna say, there's been a lot of crime and stuff in the past when you get them at the part of the rave parties and after games and stuff like that. A lot of sporting events, things they get to going crazy and doing stuff. You know, it's nothing about music. It
has nothing to do with music. It's culture.
Like downtown just recently when they was after the Michigan, that wasn't music. That
wasn't music. And those two people who are uprooting that stop sign, what hip hop artists could they blame that on?
It's a lot of uprisings that happen with other communities. They don't label it as an issue. They just say they downplay it, give an excuse for whatever it is, but then look at our situations if it's just we just lost our mind or something and put it on. You know, we can't control ourselves. But everybody is subject to mob mentality, no matter what race you are.
Mm-hmm. So, and it generally happens in areas, you know, of low accountability. I don't know, you know, because it's really, really odd to me that people would ever fight over something that they didn't own. I've always looked at that shit kind of like differently. Like, you know, you're calling this your turf. You're calling this but you don't own this. This isn't owned. This is like you're in a subsidized community. You don't own any of this. How is it anybody's? I've always looked at that's why gang life has never made sense to me, because most of that shit happens in places that you don't even own the real estate.
No, that's true. That's the main thing. We don't own pretty much nothing we fighting over.
Right. You know, you're fighting over a territory that you do not own. You have no deed to it. So stuff like that's never made sense to me. But when I look at how the aura of hip hop has spawned out, we've seen the golden years, I guess, you know, being around. We've seen the golden years all the way up to now. And, you know, everybody casts a opinion on what hip hop is now versus what it was before. And the youngins, they see what we did as elementary, or it's not what, you know, that they looked at as cool. I've seen the evolution. I don't particularly understand the younger people's hip hop, mumble rap. I don't get it. I don't get it. You as a DJ, how have you had to learn how to take in mumble rap culture, or like, because you've seen all the different lyrical styles through the years, where does mumble rap sit with everything that you've seen? You know, I mean, how do you
I gravitate to what I like out of what comes out. I never want to say that like a lot of older people say the new music is all trash. There's good stuff in it. You just got to spend time looking for it. But as a DJ, I look around and see what people like, and I play it and put it out and do that. But my own personal playlist, I look through the certain artists and find stuff I like out of them. But I understand that our generation, we did our music, and a lot of older people said things that we're doing weren't right, they were trash, whatever. And the newer generation, they're getting some of the same backlash. But we're seeing more artists who want to be artists who hopping out. We're seeing more unpolished, unseasoned. We're seeing more of it because of how the internet is. So it seems like there's a lot of trash out. It seems like there's nothing going on with the youth, but there's a lot of good artists out there. There's a lot of good artists that actually are being creative with their craft, but they're not getting that mainstream push because they're not talking about the crazy stuff. And that's just the industry wants to push that. And when you speak on the old school artists, was a lot more conscious rappers that also got pushed in videos and played. Nowadays, like Rhapsody as a female artist, a lot of folks don't know who Rhapsody is. She's been around before a lot of the ones who are getting pub, but she's not doing anything that's going to hit that mainstream pocket as it's always been pushed for the negativity to keep that thought process for us, because there's a lot of good rappers out there. They don't get spoken upon. And
where's Dej Loaf, man? Where's Dej Loaf?
She disappeared. I don't know.
I mean, she literally fell off the face of the earth.
That
I have not heard anything about her.
Forgot about that. Yeah, you're right. She disappeared real quick. But
she was hot as fish grease, dog.
Yeah,
and just dropped out of sight.
I just don't understand how the consciousness, the I don't know. It's just like we know what we know that what's attractive to us. We know that it's being pushed on us. We know what we should be listening to. For some reason, we don't do it. We don't go get it. We know it's out there because with the internet, there really is no excuse for us not to go and find those artists we want to listen to. There's really no excuse.
Yeah.
But for any artist that gets the pub and the play beyond what the youth is listening to, we got to go find it ourselves and ignore it, and let the youth grow up, because they can't keep doing this all their life. It's going to be the younger ones doing crazy stuff than they were doing.
Right.
So at some point in time, they got to switch. But I just don't get it. Every year we find something that's just ratchet and just nothing to gravitate to.
So switching gears there, just about 45 in, and we just, we're just having a build here. I've been running on a little bit. I didn't realize I hadn't smoked, so that's why I've been running on a little bit. I need to slow it down a taste. When I look at the way that the agendas are out here with a lot of the hip hop now. That's why I said we need to talk about life. We need to talk about regular stuff. The agendas that are just in the hip hop music itself, it's also in our lives. I mean, our dialect has been driven by hip hop, whether we want to believe it or not. Handshakes and all that stuff, I mean, it's been, you have to say that the high five was a high five at the beginning of the hip hop era. We said, were we high fiving then? We stopped giving five.
I'm about to say, high five, and that was high five was like a lot of sports, really. High five was more sports,
right? But like when you see like Run come on stage and he would high five DMC, that was mid '80s.
Okay, I'm talking about entertainers,
yeah, like entertainers and stuff like that. But that was us. Wasn't nobody high fiving. There wasn't no other ethnicities high fiving.
In the pound, we were doing that was us too. The fist bump.
all this, the
head nod.
The head nod. So the head nod is a universal thing. I've always found myself, a head nod, brother to brother. I'm up like this. What up?
Yeah.
But if I do it to somebody else that's not black, I do that. I've caught myself doing it, dude. If they're non-black, I go, "How you doing?" If it's a bro, if it's a black man, I'll be like, "What up?" I don't know.
I do this, and I get the look, and I realize, oh, he ain't hip to it. I keep walking. But some go back, but he just look like, all right, okay. I did my part.
Right.
I spoke my knowledge. I did my part.
Yeah, I mean, that's all you're really getting out here. You're getting a head nod. So if I acknowledge you and you don't do that back, people get upset now.
Yeah.
I just keep it moving. We just learned, I mean, hey, I did my job. I spoke.
Yep. You don't want to speak back.
Just keep it moving. I'm not gonna get upset, that you didn't speak to me, and I'm just literally just, but all of that stuff, all of that language has roots of hip hop. It's not rap, it's not the art form, but it's hip hop culture and stuff like that. Clothing, what came first, the warm-up suits or like the Levi culture? What was first in hip hop?
I say, as for hip hop, I know we do with the jogging suits was like with Run DMC, but I want to say like jeans, Levi's is more. I think Levi's first, and then the jogging suits and stuff like that as time went on with Adidas shoes and things of that nature.
Okay. Because I really, I've always been kind of a fashion misfit, so I don't know what was really popular at that time. But wasn't there a time where like hip hop like do like the dress clothes, like the baggies and the double-breasted shirts and stuff like that? Wasn't that a part of hip hop? That
was Hammer with the baggy, the diaper pants and dress shirts.
Right.
Because that was high school for us, for me myself, because I had a pair of those and the shoes and the shirt and all that. So
okay. So
you had the baggy skid pants and stuff like that at that time too.
Okay.
Old jeans were baggy.
Yeah, because it went from like Lee's and Levi's, it was basically straight legs, and then everything just started getting baggier.
Yeah.
Loose fit to relaxed fit to just flat out. I don't look at some of that stuff. I'm like, man, I don't even know how it even happened.
Fellas had a big old jean outfit. Everything was out. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and it's like, you look at it now, it's like, damn, that looks sloppy. But that was like the style. I mean, you got it big.
it's weird to see how baggy we were, and then when you start seeing later on when the tight jeans start popping up, that's like that tripped me out. I'm like, whoa.
Right. We went from one extreme to the other. And I just personally, I've never really gotten how people jump that much off into fashion. I mean, I've had my things within the styles, but I mean, some people put so much pressure on themselves to like just be a damn billboard. I mean, I think probably the only fad that I really jumped into was the Karl Kani stuff.
Yeah.
I had different Karl Kani hoodies, you know, and when you could tell like somebody had a knockoff hoodie on, that was kind of a no-no. But those Karl Kani hoodies had, you know,
I was cross colors, Van Grack, Adidas jogging suits, Ewan shoes.
So did you guys do the Bally's and Wallabies and stuff like that, or were you
penny loafers at one time?
Okay.
Lottos. What else? Pumas. The cross trainers, Bo Jackson cross trainers, stuff like that.
And Bo started all of that, right? Didn't his shoe start all that cross training?
Frenzy, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And but did you call them the Bo Jacksons, or did you just call them cross trainers?
Well, they were crossing, but Bo Jackson had, you know, his ones. Those are the ones we got. So
okay,
and yeah, I think you're right. Those were like that introduction to cross trainers. But with it being Bo Jackson, you know, that promo Bo knows. So those are the ones, the Bo Jackson. It's like saying people would say the Jordans. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Instead of calling them what they were, everything was the Jordans instead of
everything was Jordans. Right. Okay.
With the Bo Jacksons, he had different colors, different. But yeah, you had to have the Bo Jacksons.
Okay. Yeah. So I look at all of those things. I mean, being so highly influential, hip hop it's really just kind of transcended. And where's some of the stuff that we get into talking about? I mean, recently the Grammys, Killer Mike sweeps the hip hop category, 50 years of hip hop. They're still not televising the hip hop category. So nobody even knew that he had got arrested because he was on the non-televised portion of the show.
Yeah.
How can he not be on the televised portion? Or I had an argument. How come his album wasn't nominated for Album of the Year? If he swept the rap category, wouldn't his album just been good enough to at least get a nomination? Not saying it'd be beating Taylor Swift, but why couldn't he get a nomination, an at-large nomination? Because they had all these other people that were in there from different categories. Why wouldn't he get consideration if his album was so profound and swept the whole hip hop? Wouldn't it make sense that he would be at least a nominee of Album of the Year?
It would make sense, but if it's still going the way Candy Burris said it was when she was in it, who basically said the first level of nominees who get put up into it, their peers, herself, other artists, they pick those. Once that pool gets picked, it goes up to the other folks who actually pick who gets put to the show. So once you get to that point, you got the Album of the Year. So Killer Mike did get put in that category. The people who listen to it, they're not the rap connoisseurs up in that top point. The person that picked it to get in there picked the proper album. But once it gets up, they go through all the other albums and they go pick out of what they listen to. So it's just one rap album amongst the rest of the genre. So
got it.
Swift, you know, she gonna get a slot. There's only certain slots, so he didn't hit that slot with all the other artists they picked.
And I don't know all of the people's music and stuff. I'm not really up on SZA. But SZA was nominated for Album of the Year. Did she have that great of a project?
I'll say this. I don't know why SZA didn't get it. I don't know why. Because I think it's 4 singles off that album. It's been on the radio since the album pretty much dropped.
Really?
Yeah. My woman is my age, and she loves SZA stuff that comes on. Young girls younger than SZA love her stuff, and everybody in between. her songs are ringing on the radio consistently, and she's on stuff with Drake. So it's just when she didn't win it, I was confused because Taylor Swift may have had whatever she had, but SZA's also DJing when I do other parties and I got to go find different stuff or different demographics. I see her songs on other charts also. I don't see Taylor
SZA's stuff. She's crossed over like that.
Yeah, because her music is not R&B-ish, it's not pop-ish. She's kind of got her own little groove, and her label is like a hip-hop label, so it's not hip-hop music, but she has her own little sound. Her stuff it's not necessarily urban or not urban. It's just some good music. So it's newer stuff. It's not like the traditional R&B. So it had like a new feel to it, and it goes to other charts besides just hip hop. You know what I'm saying, or R&B charts.
You gonna make me go listen to her shit? I ain't telling you, dog. I am so jaded, and I've listened to very little new stuff over the years. I get it. But when I heard about her one of her songs was about to come on. I was listening to Snow Allegra, and one of her songs, and I skipped past it. So I had an opportunity to listen to it, but I should have taken the time to listen to it, knowing that it was in Snow's playlist, because I listen to pretty much anything that's kind of in her genre. But for some reason, I didn't listen to it. And then there was another girl, Summer Walker.
Yeah, she got some nice stuff too.
Yeah, see, my kids would listen to that, and then I would hear that. I'm like, oh, okay, that's a nice little song. But
Coco Jones.
I just heard about Coco Jones, and didn't she won a Grammy too? I think she won a Grammy. So there's all these young artists that I just don't listen to, and I know that I'm being prejudiced because we've got some harlots out here. And I'm really down on, is it called horror culture? I mean, I've heard that as part of the genre. Is it horror culture or horror rap or whatever? I mean, like
if they made that category, I'm not hip to that yet.
No, it's not an actual category. No, it's not. For best album for hoes. No, no. It's like the in the street thing. Like they call it something. It's horror culture or horror rappers. It's it's Sexy Red. It's Sukiyana. It's all of them. Cardi.
I'm 50-50 with it because for us males of any situation to speak on what they're talking about, I think we got to start looking back at what we talked about.
Sure.
Jermaine mentioned all they're doing is talking stripper rap, talking about their vaginas. Well, that's all we talked about was going to the strip club and talked about their vaginas.
Right.
Now they're getting paid off what we say they're doing. And some of them female rappers aren't talking about stripping. They may have sexual content, but that's not every single song. That's mainly what people gravitate to. Now, right. I don't really care for a lot of the stuff that's just straight gratuitous, no creativity, nothing clever, nothing. You just, you know what I'm saying, just straight because I just say straight porn, the straight raw porn. There's no plot, no movie to it, no storyline. You know what I'm saying? Just straight right to
Pound Town.
Yeah, that
was some of the dumbest shit ever.
When I first heard it, a friend of mine brought it to me. He was like, "Man, this is gonna be the shit," and I was like, "I don't like that."
No shit.
He was right. He was right though. But I still said, I don't understand. I don't get it. I mean, I play it when they ask me to, but I don't think about playing it on my own.
So do you have to play that at parties?
I don't have to, but I do it.
No, I'm saying like do when I say do you have to? They ask for it?
Yeah. But Ski is the one they ask for the most now. That's the one.
And what is Ski about? Because it's not I've never listened to the lyrics. So is it as graphic or as raunchy as Pound Town?
Well, when it comes on, I'm in my crate. I don't really listen to it. Like Pound Town, I've listened to Pound Town maybe once all the way through. Then if I'm DJing, I play it, but I'm gonna look for the next song and my head.
I got you.
Tune it up. So I really don't listen to it because when I heard Pound Town the first time, I've listened to all kind of female rappers, male rappers that they speak on sex. That's been clever and not clever stuff. That's entertaining and not. And that just,
it was just gross for no reason. It had no real effect to it. Like you said, we've listened to very graphic sexual material through the years, but it had something to it. There was something, you know, there was something in between the cuss words for one thing, and there was some actual real substance to it. But the main thing with hers, it's literally, it's just, I don't get it. I really don't get it. And for her to be out here, I mean, she's taking in like VIP shit with, when she was taking pictures with like sports teams owners and being on the sidelines of this, that, and the other. I'm thinking to myself, I don't have a reason to hate, because I wasn't trying to be there. I'm not trying to be rubbing elbows with sports team owner. But y'all elevating this. This is what you're looking at. And who was it? Rolling Stone. They said she was the artist of the year.
I think the song of the year was
song of the year. Yeah, she had song of the year. How?
That's Rolling Stone. That's them. That's their opinion. That's
their opinion of us. That's their opinion of us.
I know, but I don't put no stock in their opinion. But I do understand they're out there and they can influence people. But at the end of the day, it's Rolling Stone. So
yeah, okay, all right. So we'll call that one for what it is. The exploiting of the hip hop culture, I've noticed for years. I mean, I literally have noticed how they've exploited us. Some things with the music, some things with just, what do I got going on here? I'm sorry, man. Don't nobody listen to me. Headed home with groceries. Hold on a second. And the way they've exploited us, it hasn't always been to our advantage, of course, because that's what happens when you exploit things.
Yeah,
that's the exploitation of it. I think this comes from a lack of not owning. I don't think we make some of this product or allow some of this product to be out here if we are in a more of a facilitating state versus being, I mean, I just break it down. We're the help. We're the help. We're not owning shit. If you look at it, this is, we talked about the owners, the CEOs, your P's, your babies and, Slims. So that's Cash Money. And then you had your Suge. Who else is out there? Well, there's Dre. There's, Puffy when he was, I guess he's never really okay, but, Puffy, Russell, Godfather, whatever. When we've owned our own shit, we've never outwardly tried to make ourselves look bad, like over and over. There's been some garbage that's been put out. Even Luke, put Luke in a totally different genre, but Luke, Southern stuff, yeah, Jermaine Dupri, you got Rap a Lot, all that. We've never tried to make ourselves look bad. But like I said, there's been some labels that have put out some goofy shit. It really didn't start happening with the goofy shit until non-black labels started putting the music out. They'd use us to make the stuff because they're not going to make the music. They use us to put it out. And it's almost like, the more coonish, the better.
Yeah.
I mean, I gotta throw the word in there, but that's literally, it's like, it's like, really? I mean, I call it like watermelon music. And I mean, I love watermelon, so it's not a negative connotation on people that eat watermelon, but that's what it is. They want to give us that music that makes us look like, you know, we sitting around eating watermelon, spitting seeds and shit. And, you know, I mean, that's the kind of music it is. And that's not a true representation of us. I think our truest representation has been when we've owned our own stuff, not when we've made music for other people. You not liking it, what do other DJs think about it? Do other DJs, I mean, could y'all get together and like unite and be like, man, we don't want to play this shit, like it's bad for our culture, we got kids and grandkids, you know? I mean, can y'all get these artists to start doing something collectively? I mean, will they listen to y'all, or is there just too much money that they're getting paid to be clowns?
It's the money, it's the demand. And once there's a demand, then there's nothing we can do, because the club owner will get people, somebody to play it. So it's a lot to why young people from any age group, any demographic is saying what they're saying from what they're growing up or being followers, what they see or being followers. So hip hop is still always a reflection of the community. So in Sexy Red's case, from when it seems like she's being heard of. So we got to find a way to change the thought process of the newer generation, because anybody right now that's making music that's actually got a name for themselves, their mind is pretty much set on what it's going to be. Unless something happens to make them change their thought process, they're going forward. Because that drill music, when I really did my actual research and understood what the word drill is supposed to represent, I was like, wow, okay, so these kids don't talk about guns. Their music is gun music.
Got it.
Gun. So that's not. If you don't talk about that, then you're not pretty much even in that type of music. If you're not, you know, some people say it's the beat, but the actual origin of the music, like trap music, was from the trap house. Drill music is about actually the tool. So that's just like their thought process is creating a whole new genre. That's just nothing but that. When I found out that these songs are literally actual true beefs, true murders, they're not snitching. They're lining up the actual crime and connecting the dots in these songs. These are actual situations. Nothing. There's no play with it. And then you can't perform that music nowhere in your town unless you just in your side of your town. You can't go across, and it's a whole different vibe now with that type of stuff. And when they want to be that artist, and then drills don't want to go to the UK. You got New York drill, so it's spreading like hip hop spreads. So that's the part that kind of scares me the most, that these new genres are being created and allowed to be created without anybody having a say to actually call it a certain type of music branched off of hip hop. And then when you know what it actually is about, you allow it to actually be considered registered up there as an actual representation of hip hop. That shouldn't have been allowed to, you know, if you want to rap about that, that's your personal choice. But hip hop, that's like hip hop is okay in that by that or the industry by giving it a category. People can call it what they want to call it, but now it's actually a category.
Who can take credit for the term drill?
The artists in Chicago. Okay,
so the artists in Chicago can take credit for it. A genre or a format of hip hop music is foundational purpose is murder and mayhem. That's selling. It's being distributed in some way. Who's actually distributing it? These youngins aren't distributing their own music. There's a master distributor.
You got in Chicago, a lot of labels like put it out first with small labels, but once the buzz pop-ups, the bigger labels hop over there and hop into the deal for the stuff for the artists like Chief Keef. He was the biggest one for Chicago at first and made the biggest noise, but he was under a small label, and then the big label saw he was making some noise, and some labels are small and they're except for these other big ones, so it depends on the situation. But at the end of the day, the big label sees those numbers and they hop in and now they push that artist out there and give it to pub that the world will see it.
The small labels, black owned generally.
Depends. Some are hood, but some aren't. Some aren't. It depends on the situation of the artist itself. Because some artists have like that hood situation where the person got the money, it's their label, and then they do it. But then there's some labels that are like I said, subsidies of big labels that's going around and signing this and that artist, and they have a direct connection to that big label. Once the label sees them numbers, they make that phone call. We need to bring them up here to the big boys.
Okay, but and do they somehow stay connected to that artist, or do they lose that artist to the big boys and they're back searching for their next hopeful that makes it up to the next level? Like have they ever put into a position? Are these smaller labels, independent labels that we would call them? Would it be a situation that they would actually be able to stay connected to their artists?
Depends on what deal. If they strike that deal, some labels do that where the big label doesn't want to take the true heat, so they would keep, like when Eminem first started, Web Entertainment put out stuff, and a lot of that stuff they took some of the heat in the very beginning, but after that they actually put up one as it was fully Dre. But some of the stuff Web, like some of that music was Web's music off his EP, and it was on Dre's album. And they put it out, but it was under Web Entertainment and some of that stuff. So it's like a little shelter for the moment, but it depends on the structure of the deal. Sometimes you can strike it where you stay a part of it, or you just sell them off to that person, get you a big chunk, and maybe keep a small percentage, or you keep your money from the previous stuff as a manager. You keep your percentage of what goes on with that. Anything new, that label keeps it. You just go off and get you a new artist because you got that money now. So it depends on the structure of the deal.
But isn't that forcing you to start at square zero all the time again? I mean, what made Berry Gordy so strong was he didn't let nobody have none of his artists. Like he was like everything had to get channeled through Motown.
But they're not trying to keep a label like that. Because Peter sold his label, Quality Control.
Okay.
I mean, sold all they sold, sold all of the music and all that. Sold their shit. So Lil Baby and all them and Migos stuff, they don't show they you know what I'm saying? So they could have kept it and kept building, but they got their money and got out.
What is that with the selling of the catalogs? Why is that so big right now? Why is everybody selling their catalog?
I don't know, because that's forever money. I don't get it.
And they're selling it for huge sums of money. I mean, some of these guys are getting, 50, 60 million.
Well, 50, 60 million, to me, that's not a huge sum of money with talking about a catalog.
Well, I'm these younger guys, but I mean, the guys that there's been some over $100 million deals for some of their music, but like you said, that's forever money. Aren't you guaranteeing that your family is straight if you keep ownership of that music? Whereas now you're just on a spin down. If they get that check, now you're just on a spin down from whatever you get.
Yeah. So I don't get it. I guess if you're an artist who your catalog is not that strong, you can get a big chunk. That's cool. But some of these artists have good catalog. It's like, I don't know what you're thinking, because this is for you forever money. When you pass, you can give it to your kids.
Okay. All right. So here's the thing. So I really think this needs to be kind of like a series because we just basically, I don't even know if we even grazed.
No, we didn't. It's a lot. It's a lot. We got it.
Because the thing that I want to show you, this is how hip hop videos or hip hop commercials were back in the day, and what we looked at just as a hip hop commercial. What we saw hip hop being.
I know you're thinking, well, goddamn, what you drinking? The cookies leather. No other beer feel better. I used to be a hustler. Now I'm a 22 brew guzzler. Other beers I'm not loving you. Forget the great taste, it's less filling. I'd rather have some eyes and some dimes in the crib chilling, or in the six relaxing, honeys in the back, cracking 6 packs, rubbing my back. Big Papa, you all that.
So that was Biggie. That was Biggie doing a St. Ives commercial. And that's what a hip hop commercial was. I mean, they used an artist. He basically, and that beat, was that a Dog Pound beat? Was that the Dog Pound beat?
That actually was the beat they wanted to use it for New York, yeah.
New York. Okay. So maybe that's why Biggie did what he did with that. I'm trying to find another quick commercial because I want to get out of here.
I do gotta do it. I want to finish this because that Biggie conversation, we gotta get to that.
You got to. We're gonna get to that, but you know, let's just leave it on a light note. We're gonna cut out of here. This is something that I found. Dude. Wait a minute. I gotta set it up, and then we're gonna get out of here. Man. So this is an H&R Block commercial, dog. All right, H&R Block. Put H&R Block in your mind. H&R Block is taxes, right? Mm-hmm. This is how they are targeting. This is how they're targeting us.
Decoration. Look at this. Look at this. What's this got to do with taxes? Making it rain. Making it rain.
You see that now?
Man.
Watch how he walks.
Wait a minute. Wait, watch this. Dude, we got to come back. We got we got to come back. That's what I that's just the beginning of my arsenal. I've been recording this shit and uploading it, dude. They've exploited us, and we really need to jump into the exploitation of it next time. So we're gonna cut it off here. I'll get with you tomorrow. You back at it tomorrow, right?
Yes, definitely.
All right. So I'll hit you and we'll chop it up. We'll find out our next day. But appreciate you, dog. Appreciate you coming up. I'm gonna close it out. Yeah, do your thing. DJ HELLUVA coming in with that historian vibe. So yeah, do your thing, man. We got you. We got you on this. Yeah. We got it. We'll talk. I got Ice Cube's eyes commercial too. I got Ice Cube eyes commercial. Yeah, we got all that. So don't put your avatar because I want to keep you. I want to keep you on. You got your
It's up there. Should be up there.
It's up there? Okay. Oh, I did it solo. My fault. Yeah. I don't want to ban you from the studio.
I think when I did something, they did it. Remember?
Oh yeah. There you go. Yep, you did it. All right. So that's DJ HELLUVA. And I'm gonna bring him down. But let me add this to the stage. Take HELLUVA out. Good conversation there. Like I said, it was a lot of rambling, a lot of running on early, just mainly because I think both of us saw that this was way bigger than just having a 60, 75-minute conversation. So instead of keeping it too long, I just want to make sure that we got the foundation and life and hip hop, everybody's life. And we're going to show you it's not just about Black people, because this industry, this culture has crossed ethnicities. It's obviously crossed demographics. But we just tapped on a little bit of the exploitation of it. But there's some real true stuff out here. Other cultures, hip hop is like the top 10. Hip hop is the top musical genre in like 10 different countries, like huge countries. And we're going to talk about that. Like, it's not just big in the States, it's big everywhere. And how they look at hip hop versus the way America looks at hip hop now. A lot of these countries that are really getting into hip hop now, they look at hip hop the way we used to look at hip hop in a much more serious way. I think now it's almost like it's lampooned a little bit. So I don't believe that we are in the same state that we were in 20 years ago with hip hop or 30 years ago with hip hop. I think it's a little bit more lampoonish. and damn near anybody can put out a record, where it wasn't like that before. So, you know, there's so much stuff that we've talked about, and we just want to kind of get aired out. But appreciate Helluva coming through tonight. He had to make a break for it, which was okay, because like I said, we see that this conversation is going to take a lot. So we'll make a series out of that. But I appreciate him coming up. I got some other stuff that I want to talk about, but I'm not going to do it on this stream. I'm going to cut this stream just because I think we had a good build, just laying some foundation to what we want to talk about. But there's so much more. I mean, you know, getting into the corporate world, how the corporate world and hip hop, you know, I don't know if y'all remember the movie Boiler Room. That movie was laden with hip hop, and people didn't realize it until they saw it like 3 or 4 times in. I probably haven't seen that movie maybe 30, 40 times, to be honest, because it is a hip hop based movie. If you listen to it and you listen to the way they talk, the way they move, the soundtrack itself, you know, Nia Long's in that. That's a reason to go watch it just within itself. So, but it is what it is. So I'm going to cut out, and don't know exactly how the rest of my evening will fare. If I'll get up, I thought about doing a Twitter space. There's a couple things that we need to get off and into the atmosphere. I might do a Twitter space on, or I might come back up here. I don't know. We'll see how it is. But appreciate anybody that checked out the live, anybody that is going to check out the playback. This is just the beginning of a conversation. Just two brothers just talking about the life, not life and hip hop, you know, not anybody's particular life, just the world out here, you know, and how hip hop is all intertwined in it. So it's all good. I think I'm going to bring this back all the way up here. And let's find us an outro. And the intro was Helluva. Outro is Urban.
Yeah, they want to get some, but I'm the cat, so yo, you know the outcome.
I'm the villager.
They want to get some, but I'm the creeper, so yo, you know the outcome.
Rapper stepping to me. They want to get some, but I'm the cat, so yo, you know the outcome.
Rapper stepping to me. They want to get some, but I'm the creeper, so yo, you know the flow.
Yeah. Who want to see me act a fool? Grab the mic and broadcast like the 6 o'clock news. Reaching my peaks when I excite the crowd. And MCs get dealt with quick for crying out loud. I packed a little something every run for your sons.